Guys, alright, we're going to talk about Champion Zerato here. My initial thoughts. I have pulled him, I haven't built him yet. I'm planning on doing that, but I want to give my initial thoughts before I actually use him, kind of like I did with Cartouche. So you can see any changes I might have had, my thought, because I kind of hyped up Cartouche a little bit, and then I used him, and it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. I kind of had my doubts about that unit, kind of had my doubts about Zerato as well. But I think he can work in specific situations and actually really shine in those situations, and I'll kind of talk about what my plans are for him. So, at first, let's go ahead and preview his base stats here. His base attack's not bad. His speed is really low, like that's pretty bad. And his health is pretty bad too. And for a counter unit, you would expect him to have a decent amount of HP, which he doesn't. His defense is pretty good, but that's just, his stats are allocated kind of weird. As you notice here, like when I hit the Awaken thing, he gets some more effectiveness and more crit there. So, those are his base stats. I wouldn't recommend putting this dude on a speed set. You're not going to get as much out of it. But since I only really farm Wyvern, I might actually put him on a speed set. So we'll see what kind of gear I have for him after I have him built. Let's go ahead and preview his skills.
Win anyway.
Alright, so it's S1, attacks the enemy with an Earthen Blast, transferring 1 debuff from the caster to the enemy. It's a 100% chance out the gate. So, it's that very simple attack. So it's got a 100% chance since it doesn't specify here. So, unless they resist, it's going to do it. His S2, Iron Will, immune to stun and sleep. Has an 80% chance to counterattack when attacked while debuffed. I believe he attacks the turn that the debuff is applied. If someone could confirm that in the comments, I'd appreciate it, but I think that's how it works. If not, then it's not as good. However, yeah, people argue that like if he has a hit debuff and he counterattacks with that, him missing, he won't transfer the debuff, and yeah, that's true. This Mola goes up to 100%. And this S3, this is the bread and butter right here, and I'll talk about why. Cataclysm attacks all enemies by slamming rocks with a 60% chance base and 75% chance Mola to decrease defense and attack for 2 turns. And this is an AoE, so it'll hit everyone, obviously. Before Awakening, it's just 1 turn, so after Awakening, it's 2 turn. But as you can see here, it ignores effect resist when you soul burn it, and that's what makes this ability really good.
This is it.
And on top of that, he's neutral element, so you don't have to worry about type disadvantage, which is really good. I really like this animation, though. This dude is straight up Earthbender Sokka from The Last Airbender. That's what this guy is.
I'll do everything I can. Nice.
But yeah, really cool ability. So I'm gonna hop out of here. Just talk about him a little bit more. See, with these base stats, let's kind of compare here to other mages. So, like 4,700 health, but he's got, let's just say 60-30 defense for simplicity. Who's another popular mage? I didn't mean to click her, but that was a mage. Let's go back to mages here. Sage Balin says it has pretty good base stats. Not quite as much defense as him, but it's pretty close to that, and he's probably the tankiest mage in the game. Same as Zeno. Who's another mage that might take a hit? Mages generally don't want to get hit, so they usually don't have very good base stats for getting hit. Dizzy has the same defense as Bale. Oh, she's a Taurus, too. Okay, so the Taurus mages are tanky, obviously. Xeno's also a Taurus. Who else here? Let's compare to some 4-stars. I think he's going to have more defense than every one of these 4-star mages. Well, it's the same for her. She's slower. Has less health. Her stats are going to be the same. She's a Scorpio, too. Pisces. About the same as Oxlot's with defense and health. Okay, so maybe his defense isn't as high as I thought it was. I know Soul Weavers have pretty good base defense. Would like to see something that has low base defense. Probably Thieves. So like, let's look at Karon's base defense. Yeah, considerably lower. Okay, so Thieves are the bottom of the barrel base defense. They don't want to get hit. But if you look at Violet, Violet can tank fairly well. Now, he's got a lot more base health than Zerato does, but he's got like 2/3 the defense that Zerato has. And yeah, he has a dodge mechanic too, but when Violet actually gets hit and he's got pretty tanky gear, he can survive pretty well. And being on a lifesteal set, you know, he can recover health as well. So I'm thinking I might actually build, like, if I can do some Banshee runs and get some tankier lifesteal gear that has some good, decent attack subs on it. You know, I'm not going to worry about crit or crit rating as much. Maybe try and get his attack up a bit and make him really tanky. And not even worry about speed and just run him in a turn 2 comp as my defense breaker. And what I'm planning on doing, like, I'm going to build BBK right after him. Well, I'm also going to build somewhat tanky. And I'm going to run them both in a turn 2 team. So what that means is, like, the entire enemy team is going to go before me. And I've considered, yes, there's Crimson Armins. We'll just go look at Arena real quick. Because I'm going to be doing this in the champion meta. And I think I could push relatively far with this. So I'm going to lose my win streak here, but whatever. But, like, see these teams here? There's Crimson Armins. There's Arbiter Vildreds. You know, all these teams right here, literally all of them are tanky. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to build my ML Bale to where, like, more than likely he's going to cut because of his S2, but I'm not going to open up with his S2. And when it's on cooldown, he gets that 25% combat readiness increase. So what I'm going to do is I want their entire team to go before me, but do you notice in all these teams here, there's really not a big damage threat whatsoever. There's Arbiter Vildreds and Akin in all those teams. Same here. There's really no damage threat. So I figure what I can do, like Violet's kind of an iffy thing to hit with this team, but I'll let my Bale go first or go second if he cuts or whatever, but I'm going to leave his S2 available. That way their entire team goes. They blow, like Crimson Armin uses her S3, Angelica uses her S3, and they waste all those cooldowns. And then I'm going to have my Bale on Ayala's Violin. I need to max it out. And then that's potentially 3 buffs that I can cleanse. 1 will ignore resistance. So I'm going to have to build my Bale relatively tanky with really high effectiveness. And then I'll have to speed tune my team to where he goes first, even after the entire other team goes. So I figure he'll cut in, he'll gain 75% combat readiness while the rest of the team goes. And then he'll completely lap the rest of my team. I'll take whatever debuffs that I'm going to get from Dizzy's or whatever, Aramintha stuns, whatever, and then I'm going to run my Destina or my Montmorency, depending on, you know, whatever. I think my Destina, I'll just get her to where she's slightly faster than my ML Zerato and where she's slightly faster than my BBK. I'll either run Tonfa's on my BBK, or not Tonfa's, Portrait on my BBK, or Moonlight Dreamblade. Because if I'm getting hit with tons of AoE, there's a good chance Moonlight Dreamblade is going to proc. And since I'm not going to be running an attack buff on the team, it'll give her an attack buff. I have to test between that artifact and Portrait to see which will give me more damage when I cleave with her. But ideally, I'll be running Tagahells, a 30 Tagahells on my Zerato, and after my Sage Bale and Sezin laps my entire team, and I get that 3 debuff cleanse off, then I cleanse with Destina, Soulburn Zerato's S3, get defense breaks up, and then I cleave with BBK. After using all those abilities, I'll have enough souls to where I only need to run one Tagahel's book. I'll get 10 souls from the use of... Let's double check here. So I'll probably open with Sage Bale and Sezin's S3, which gives 2 souls. Destina's gives 3, so there's 5. And then Bale will go again in S2. It's another 2. So that makes 7. And then Zerato, hopefully his gives 3. I think it does. It's down here somewhere. 3 souls, which gives me exactly 10 souls that I need to soul burn BBK's S3. That's the team combo I'm playing in. And I think it can be very successful in this meta. Because effect resist is very prevalent. With Zerato, I bypass that. Yeah, it's only a 75% chance to defense break. But even in doing so, if I defense break 2 of those units and cleave them with BBK, they're going to die. BBK hitting a defense break will kill any unit in the game, I think. Even if there is a Crimson Armin or Arius there. Like, I already use her on my alt, and she one-shot stuff without defense break. So if I build her good enough over here, I'm going to need to get Molas. I don't think I need to Mola him right off the bat. I need to get his effect chance, actually. So that's something I need to do. But I need to also Mola up BBK. One thing that's really nice, I'm going to get 6 attack here. Then I also have... Let's see. Yeah, I got 3 Karins here. Ready to level up. They're ready to promote with. And then 2 more BBKs here. So I'll get a nice imprint on my BBK here as well. And Zerato will do a little bit more damage. Not really worried about his damage. All I really care about is this. And soul burning it. And being neutral element. And that's where I think Zerato can shine. He's very good in PvE too. Shout out to Too Fast 18, I think is the number, Too Fast 18. Did a Zerato review and showed him in Golem. He's actually really good for Golem too. Really good for Banshee. Probably good for Isomanic 11 too. So I'll probably end up bringing him into some of those places once I have him built. I don't really do anything but Wyvern. And I manual Banshee to beat it in like 45 seconds. So that's where I'm at with Zerato. Stay tuned for a debut. He should be done. All right, let's see where I'm at with my fodder. I have all these ready. I'm leveling up the last one, I believe. Well, I got another one down here. I got to promote, and then I got all these ready to go, and then a couple more. So yeah, he should be 6-star here relatively soon. I need to figure out a gear step for him, and I'll debut him probably in a guild war or some kind of PvP montage again. We'll see. But that's it. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like. Stay tuned for my debut, and you guys have a good one. Peace out.